Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all. Thank you so much for joining. We'll go ahead and get started in a few minutes, but go ahead. You can use this QR code to sign in and we'll get started. And for those of you that have joined, if you wouldn't mind just putting in the chat the grade levels and subjects that you teach. We're going to be talking about a lot of different resources today, and I just want to make sure I tailor it to best fit your needs. So excited to work with you all. All right, I see we have a second grade, pre-K through 5, 6. Okay, high school, 6th grade math and science. Okay, high school math. Great. If you're just joining, if you wouldn't mind just chatting in the grade level and subject that you teach, and we'll wait till 10 to get started. But thank you all for sharing. I appreciate that.
Kathleen, is there like a link? I'm having a hard time trying to go to your bit.ly for sign in.
Oh, you know what? This link is from the district. Let me see if I can just copy and paste it and put it in the chat.
But if you sign for 7 hours, do you still have to sign in again or no?
They had asked me to put this slide in the session, so I'm assuming that you would need to sign in. I'm not completely sure, but let me see if I can grab the link for you and put it in the chat.
Okay.
Just 1 second.
I mean, I got the link earlier, but I signed in for 7 hours already. So I don't know if it's in sign in or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone on the call might know. That would be a question for the district folks.
You only need to sign in once. You don't need to sign in multiple times.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. Okay. All right, well, I'll wait till 10 to get started, but for those of you that just joined, if you wouldn't mind just chatting in the subjects that you teach and the grade levels, we'll be talking about a lot of different resources, and I just want to make sure that I tailor it to the grade levels that you teach. So it looks like right now we have across the spectrum from elementary, middle, and some high school folks. So that's great. K-12, 6 through 8. Awesome. Awesome. Out of curiosity, has anyone on the call used EVERFI before or is familiar with EVERFI? You can either put it in the chat or come off mute. Just curious if anyone's familiar with it. Okay, I see a lot of no's.
Yes.
Oh,
Hilltop, Joseph.
oh, hi, Joseph. We've emailed before.
Yes, we have.
Great, great. What programs did you use in the past?
Let's just say a variety of different things depending on my students and their needs.
Okay, so
Yeah.
use some variety. Okay.
Entrepreneurship has been one of them.
Okay, great, awesome. Okay, so I see we have a lot of new to EVERFI folks. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start in about 2 minutes just to give some folks a chance to trickle in, and then we'll get started. I do want to be mindful of our time together. And if any of you haven't shared yet your grade levels and subject that you teach, you can go ahead and share that in the chat. Just want to make sure we're going over everything. Oh, I see we have some music teachers. That's awesome. My dad was a middle school music teacher, so I have an affinity for music programs. That's awesome. High school, pre-K, okay. A lot of math teachers I see, great. All right, well, I do want to be mindful of time, so We'll go ahead and get started. I see we have quite a range of subject levels on the call, which is great. So I'll just start by saying we're going to go over a lot of resources today, and I won't be able to speak to every single course that we have that we offer, but just know that I am here as a support person. So if you're trying to find things that are best for your students and we don't touch on those super specifically today, that's okay. You can email me and we'll get you set up to go. All right, so all right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So this session is EVERFI, Connecting with the Real World. And so a little bit about our agenda today. We'll do some introductions. I'm gonna give you all a brief overview of what EVERFI is. I see that we have several folks that are new to EVERFI, so we want to make sure you get to give you some background and context. Then we'll dive into the instructional resources that we have. But really what I really want to walk away with today is making sure that all of you know how to navigate the platform, how to access the programs, and how to get your students started. So we'll go over all of those things. I know that it's a full day of PD today, so I really want to focus on applying the concepts that we're talking about, making sure that you feel empowered to use these resources with your students, and then leave time for feedback and questions. All right, so let's just dive right in. And please, if you have any questions, concerns, anything that comes up, you can feel free to come off mute and interrupt me, or you can add it to the chat. So whichever is more comfortable for you all. All right, so a little bit about me. My name is Kathleen Rodriguez, and I am the support person for EVERFI. So basically, EVERFI is a whole package of different digital lessons that are district approved for you all to use that live on your Clever page. So we'll be talking about what those resources are. A little bit of background about me. I am a former middle school ELA teacher. I taught social studies. I taught science for a very brief stint. But I have spent my career working in public education. I worked in the US. I also worked in education abroad in Colombia. And prior to this, I was working with SFUSD students as part of 826 Valencia's writing program. So I am familiar with SFUSD schools. And now in my current role, I get to work with teachers and administrators to make sure that you all have the tools you need to use these programs. So it's great to be with you all. My email is also here, so please jot that down. And if you need some one-on-one support, you can feel free to contact me. All right, so a little bit about what EVERFI is. We really started, so we're an education technology company, and where we really started was the idea of financial education and kind of figuring out what curriculum was missing in schools to equip students to be lifelong learners with real world skills. And so we really started with financial education, helping students understand, what a budget is, how to do their taxes, things like that. And since then, we've built out a lot of other resources that touch on social emotional learning, STEM, career readiness, so different suites there. And so the main thing that I like to mention is that all of the lessons, my support, any trainings that we do are all free for districts to use. So each program has digital content that students can work on that's self-paced. There's also assessments to see what the student learning gains are, and then my support. And so all of that is free. And the first question I get when I say that is, how does that work? How is that possible? And so the way that our model works is we find outside partners to sponsor our courses. So for example, for financial education, we might have a bank that as part of their CRA requirement says, okay, we're gonna pay for this district to access financial education. In other cases, for example, our character playbook program, which is about character development, making sure that students can navigate relationships with their peers, that was sponsored by the San Francisco 49ers. So we have different partners that sponsor the program so that school districts don't have to pay for them. There's an unlimited number of student licenses. So there's the digital content. We have additional lesson plans built out for teachers that are ready to go, ready to use. And then the sponsorship also includes the implementation team. So that's me. I support teachers with any tech issues that come up, setting up their classes, questions if teachers are trying to figure out what courses best work for their students. I'm a thought partner for that as well. And then we also have scholarship opportunities available to students. They vary by time of year and by sponsor, but students can apply for some scholarships as well. I'm just going to pause right there. Does anyone have any questions so far about what EVERFI is or kind of what we do? We're going to dive into it a lot more deeply, but this is just kind of an overview.
Is it possible to put the slide deck link in the chat, please?
Oh, yes. Let me go ahead and do that. So Genevieve, that's a great question about how to access. I'm going to walk through how to access everything on your dashboard through Clever. So go ahead and stay tuned, and we're going to go through all of that together. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and throw in the link to the presentation here. And so you should be able to see it if you want to follow along. And thank you for reminding me to do that. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Were you able to open the link okay?
Not yet. I'm working on it now.
Okay, great. Just let me know if it doesn't open for you. All right. So I would love, just as we're thinking about back to school and getting students ready for the next school year, I'm curious to hear from you all. You can go ahead and send it in the chat. As you're looking at this new school year, what is a challenge or a priority that's top of mind for you? So is it engagement, mastery of skills? What are the things that you're thinking about as you start the school year? And you can go ahead and just send that in the chat. Give everyone a second to do that. And I'm going to see if I can find where the chat is. All right, so I see keeping students engaged, using time and space most effectively, differentiation, engagement and mastery, mastery of skills, engagement. A lot of engagement. Yes, I was a teacher as well, so I know that that's always top of mind. I taught middle school, so particularly in middle school, it was a challenge, but focused. Okay, great. Real world engagement, attendance, social emotional. Okay, great. Yeah, these are all awesome responses. So I'm hoping, what I'm hoping is that the information we go through today can be a solution for you all in terms of thinking about engagement, preparing students with those real world skills, and something that's pretty easy to implement. So as I mentioned, all of these programs are on your district's Clever page. So accessing them and getting students started is pretty easy. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that today. Okay, great. All right, so because we have elementary, middle, and high school teachers on the call. This is our entire suite of resources. And what I will say is this is probably the most overwhelming slide to look at. So I'm going to break this down into elementary, middle, and high school so you can see what programs we offer for each level. So I'm going to start with elementary. And so just a guiding point for you on the top, we have kind of the subject area domain that the course goes into. So you'll see we have financial education, STEM and career exploration, social emotional learning, health and wellness, and academic readiness. And so underneath that, you'll see the grade bands and the title of the course. So what I'll say about the course is the grade bands are flexible. So sometimes we have younger elementary teachers using them, sometimes older. A guiding point for you is the grade level listed, the reading level of the curriculum is usually a grade below that. So if, okay, great. Yeah, I see that. So some of you are familiar with some of these programs. That's great. So the grade level listed, the reading level is usually going to be about a grade below that. So for example, the vault program is probably going to be around a 3rd grade reading level. So you can use that as kind of a guiding point. What I always say is that teachers know their students best. So once you're able to preview the course, you can see, you know, what is most appropriate for your students. So my elementary folks, just looking at this slide, is there anything that jumps out at you that you'd be interested in learning more about? You know, something I'm going to try and touch on a few of the courses. I won't have a chance to touch on everything, but if you have an area of particular interest or questions, then feel free to put that in the chat. So these are the elementary resources that we have. And then for middle school, these are the courses that we offer. And between middle school and high school, there is some overlap because the grade bands are flexible. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so we'll definitely touch on Compassion Project for elementary. Awesome. Health and Wellness Compassion Project. So yeah, as we go through these slides, if something jumps out to you or something you really have questions about or want to review, please put that in the chat and I'll try to touch on it. I won't, as I mentioned, if I dove into every single course detail, we would be here for 5 hours. So I'm going to touch on some popular ones. But if you do have questions, please, you know, come off mute or put it in the chat and we can talk about those. So these are the middle school courses that we have. And then I know we have some high school teachers here. So I'm going to put up the high school courses and give you all a moment to look at that. So this slide is a little bit different. We have a diversity, equity, and inclusion category for this slide as well, some new courses that we built out. So I'll give the high school folks a moment to look at that. And go ahead and if there's anything that's really of interest that you want to jump into talking about, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. So I'm seeing health and wellness, Compassion Project, the social emotional stuff. Okay, great. Literacy and career exploration, STEM. Okay, great. I'll be sure to touch on those. Financial education, excellent. We have a lot under the umbrella of financial education for high school. We've released a lot of new courses, so I'll definitely touch on kind of the core programs that we have and the additional resources that are built off of that. Data science, okay, great. All right. And Joseph, great point on the Spanish resources. Our financial education courses are all translated into Spanish, but also any new courses that we've released in the past year are translated into Spanish, and I'll show you how to be able to see which courses are in Spanish. So just to highlight some of the resources that are brand new this year, not all of these have been released yet, but you can just kind of keep these on your radar. And I won't go into these too much in depth, but just so you know what's new for this year. We have Build, which is about teaching students about credit and how to borrow responsibly, how to use credit, build their credit, understanding credit reporting. So that's for high school. So that's a new one coming out this year. Save Up is for middle school. And so it's really getting students into the practice of thinking about saving and starting at an early age and understanding how to do that. We also built out another course for our sustainability foundations, which focuses on recycling. And then another course that's coming down the pipeline is our Get Digital Safety in the Metaverse. And so it's really about equipping students to understand what the metaverse is, how to interact with it safely. And that course isn't out yet, but it will be coming down the line. So that will also be an option. All right, in addition to new courses, we've also updated some of our existing courses. So those of you that have used EVERFI in the past might be more familiar, but we did revamp our character playbook program. So we just made it more updated and user-friendly. You know, there was some wonky things about the course previously, and so we just gave a fresh look to that. We've also updated our understanding mental wellness. It used to be mental wellness basics, but we've added some lessons, particularly about how students can navigate their mental health in times of uncertainty, which I think we're all feeling that the past 2 years have brought a lot of uncertainty. So we included a lesson about that as well. And then we've updated our WordForce program, which is our early literacy program. So there's more interventions, there's video explanations, there's assessments for each game, and then there's also an ebook library. So those are just kind of some of the updates. All right, so as we go through talking about the courses, I really don't want to just talk at you. I want to make this as interactive and useful as possible. So before we start getting into the courses, I want you to be able to see what this looks like in context on your teacher dashboard. So I'm going to show you all how to log in so that as I talk about these courses and as you're looking at what's interesting to you, what you might want to use with your students, you can start adding those things to your dashboard already. So in order to do that, I'll have everybody just open a separate tab. And what you're going to do is, I'm not sure if you all have the Clever app on your device or on your browser. If not, you can go to this website to get onto Clever, and you're going to log on using your district credentials. And so once you log on, if you scroll down, you should see an app that says EVERFI. That's orange and white. It's pictured here. And so you'll click on that once you have that Clever page open. So I'll give everyone a second to do that. And please, if you have any issues as you're logging in, you can put them in the chat or come off mute. But I do want you to be able to see where the course catalog is, so then that way you know exactly how to access these programs if and when you need them. So again, you'll go to Clever, you can log in with your credentials and just click the EVERFI app. And most of you mentioned that you have not used EVERFI. So if you get this message about linking accounts, you can just hit dismiss. Genevieve, do you have class sections or do you work with small groups of students?
I'm a school nurse, so I work.
So Genevieve, for you, your access might be a little different. So I can get you set up. The thing is that if you don't have like traditional class sections, you might not have the app. So let me just, if for the time being, since you don't have class sections, if you don't, so if anyone doesn't have the app or is not seeing it, if you want to just follow along, you can log on through the website. So everfi.com/new teacher.
Hi, Kathleen. I might have missed this, but if I never used it before, and it just showed me a screen where it say, let's see, it asking me question if I'm a previous user, and I'm not. So what do I do?
You can just click dismiss.
Oh, dismiss.
Yeah, so if you get that pop-up, you can just click dismiss.
Okay.
So for those of you that are not seeing Clever on the app, you can go to everfi.net and set up an account through the website. Like if you don't have a traditional classroom, that's an option for you. And I can work with you to get students set up. They'll still be able to log in through Clever, but you just might have to set up your class a little differently. So I can follow up with you all. All right. So for those of you that were able to open the app on Clever, you may get a pop-up. You can just close or dismiss. And as I talk about the courses, feel free to follow along under the Explore Courses tab at the very top. So I'm going to show you how to access the course details and things like that. But I'm going to give just kind of an overview of some of the courses first, some of the ones that are most popular. I'll touch on elementary, middle, and high school. But feel free to browse as we talk about these. You know, I really want you all to get familiar with the platform, so you can follow along here. All right. Okay, so for health and wellness, as I touched a little bit on this before, we did update our Understanding Mental Wellness Basics course. So we added some new lessons. And so something to know, we're going to be going through a lot of different slides today. So I just want to show you all some of the details on here. So grade level, as I mentioned, is flexible. The course slide in this upper left-hand corner will also talk about how many lessons there are and how long each lesson takes. And then any subject alignments. So some teachers have used these courses for advisory, as intervention, as homework. It's flexible in terms of how you want to do it, but these are just some ideas here. And then it'll also list any languages that are offered. So mental wellness was updated this year. And to include that lesson that I spoke of about, you know, understanding mental health, and especially in times of uncertainty. Another one that's been really popular under our health and wellness suite is our vaping, Know the Truth. And so it touches on what the dangers of vaping are. This course was built out in partnership with the Truth Initiative as a response to a lot of teacher feedback that we got that vaping was an issue at their school. So it provides, refusal skills, resources to quit, things like that. It's 4 lessons that are each about 5 to 10 minutes each. And we say 5 to 10 minutes because each student takes a different amount of time to work on them. So as we all know, we have students who are early finishers and some that take a little bit longer. Jennifer, your question was, do you have to create a class before you can explore the classes or the courses? No. So once we get further into the dashboard, I'm going to show you how to access the preview of the course and all the lesson materials that go with it from the catalog. So you'll see on that Explore Courses, a course details, and that's where you find that information. So yeah, we're going to get into all the ins and outs of the dashboard. I'm just giving everyone just kind of a preview of what's in our catalog, and then we'll go through how to set everything up. So thanks so much for that question. All right, so I did get a lot of requests for Compassion Project. So we have 2 versions of Compassion Project, and it's really about teaching students empathy at a young age. So our course for lower elementary we've had for a while. It's primarily for 2nd and 3rd grade. And it consists, so like all of our courses, there's a digital component. So there's 3 different videos that students watch. But in addition, because this is geared toward such a young audience, we did build out 15 additional lesson plans with accompanying videos that teachers can use with their students. So we have Compassion Project for lower elementary, and then we also have it for upper elementary. The upper elementary was just released last year. So there's 6 lessons, 3 that are digital that each take about 10 minutes each. Both versions of the Compassion Project align to the CASEL standards. And so this can be done as part of Morning Circle, or if you have, time built out at your elementary school for social emotional learning, it works great for that as well. All right. Character Playbook got a new update this year. Character Playbook is a great SEL resource for middle school. As a former middle school teacher, what I would always say is that middle school tends to involve a lot of interpersonal drama. And so this course really focuses on helping students understand that conflict is okay to have. It's just how they deal with that conflict. So understanding their own self-awareness, managing their own emotions, how to build relationship skills with their peers, and responsible decision making. So it touches on all those things. So great for middle school. I do have some 9th grade teachers that use it as part of their SEL programs, but I probably wouldn't go too much higher than 9th grade, just because for the older high schoolers, it might feel below their level. So great for middle school. And this is the course that was sponsored by the San Francisco 49ers. All right. Another option we have is our Ignition Digital Wellness and Safety course. And so this is all about teaching students the worlds of the internet, navigating social media, how to deal with online bullying, understanding what to do if they're feeling overwhelmed, so that understanding the screen time versus offline time and when to kind of step away. So this works well for middle school as well. Again, probably wouldn't go much higher than 9th grade with this one. And again, it aligns to those CASEL standards. And then for our high school folks, we also have Honor Code, which is our Beyond Bullying program. And so we say Beyond Bullying because it's not just focused on bullying interventions. It's focusing on how students can become leaders in their school community and develop a positive school community. So it touches on topics like how to recognize leadership potential, developing a sense of resilience, all of those things. So Cindy asked a great question. Are all of these lessons used with each student on their own device? So the answer is yes, and. So all of our courses are digital and they can be used asynchronously. So you can say, okay, today we're going to work on honor code, and you're going to do the first lesson. So students will work on them independently. That being said, some teachers really like having the in-person component. And so we do provide offline lesson plans. It's not a requirement for you to use them, but they're there as a supplemental resource. So, you know, classroom discussions, activities that you can do with your students to supplement what they're learning in the digital program. So great question, Cindy. Thank you for asking that. All right. So for our diversity, equity, and inclusion suite, one of the courses that we released last year was our BNA course about navigating anti-Semitism and hate. And so it works to define what this is, teach students a background of history of what, you know, what has happened historically, what are things happening now, how discrimination appears, and then what students can do to be allies to that community. So this is great for high school. I would say probably starting in 9th grade. I have had middle school teachers use it in the past, but the content does tend to be a little elevated for them. So I would recommend, if you're interested in using this resource, just to preview it to see if it works with your students if they're younger. We also have our 306 African American History course, which works well for, I know we had some middle school social studies teachers, so it aligns with the 8th grade social studies standards. It can also be used in high school. And so giving students a background of African American history. And then in partnership with that, an additional course that we added recently is our 306 Continuing the Story. And it's really about just celebrating all the highlights of African American history. So there's topics on the Black business titans that have shaped that world, Black contributions to medicine. So this can be used in conjunction with the original course. I know I'm going through these very quickly. I promise I will give you a chance to add any of these to your catalog from the catalog, but just wanted to give just kind of an overview of some of these. All right, so for our upper elementary and middle math teachers, we also have our Future Goals course, which is a math and science program. And what that does is teaching students about the concept of math and science and how they relate to the game of hockey, how people who work in hockey think about math concepts, science concepts, as they're strategizing about how best to play the game. So some of the topics are on data, graphical analysis, calculating area, distance versus time, coordinate planes. And then we have for science, different types of forces, body systems, types of energy, kinetic and potential energy. So for the science, we also have accompanying labs that they can do if that's something you're interested in as well. And I know someone mentioned being interested in the STEM career exploration. Endeavor is probably one of my favorite courses because it really gives students some hands-on understanding of what different career options there are in the STEM field. So for example, they go through a simulation of being on a video game design team and what that looks like and the different avenues they can take for that. They also are exposed to understanding algorithms for music websites like Spotify and what kind of work that entails. And so it's really tailored to the students' reflection and helping them figure out what their interests are and what options in the STEM field could be available to them. All right. And I did want to talk about our financial education. We have financial education for every grade level. So for our elementary school teachers, it's going to be our Vault Understanding Money program. And this is really about giving younger students a foundational understanding of money, of goal setting, of planning. And so it's done through a video game style, where they're helping make decisions about money and limited resources in the game. And then for middle school, we have Future Smart, where students choose an avatar. They get to become the mayor of their town, and they help their fellow citizens make decisions about money. So this one is also available in Spanish, works great for middle school. And as a build off of that, we just our new course for this is our Save Up, which again talks about how students can start saving early and preparing for their future in middle school. I know that there was some interest in the high school financial literacy curriculum. So EVERFI financial literacy is where I usually recommend teachers to start. It gives students a basic understanding of finances. So understanding what a budget is, what saving means, how to make good decisions with spending money, managing credit and debt, how to finance higher education, how to choose different types of insurance. And something I also love about this course is it actually takes students through a simulation of how to do their taxes. So this is something I didn't know how to do when I graduated high school. So I'm glad that students get a chance to practice this. And I'll just touch briefly on some of the other ones. We have an entrepreneurship course where students get to design a food truck business. We also have our marketplaces course, which works well for econ teachers and sometimes used in math as well, understanding the stock market and how all of that works. Money Moves, which is teaching students about how to use mobile apps safely. And then our Pathways course, which is all about financing higher education, how to work on the FAFSA, and other ways of getting that money for higher ed. Yes, Jenna, I agree. And as someone who didn't know how to do their taxes, I didn't feel equipped for the real world when I graduated high school. So I'm glad that this is becoming a topic in public education. All right, and very quickly, just our academic readiness courses. So for our younger elementary folks, we have our WordForce, which is building literacy for younger students. And then we also have our Summer Slugger program. This is kind of a misnomer because people assume that you can only use it during the summer, but it's a math and literacy game that uses the concepts of baseball. And so this can be used, some teachers use it as enrichment, for summer slide, but it can also be used during the school year as well. All right, so I know I've been talking a lot about these courses, but I really want to make sure that you all know how to navigate the platform. So for those of you that were able to log on to Clever, we're going to go through how to access all of this wealth of information and how to decide what's right for your students. So most of you are probably on the Explore Courses tab. And so we had a question about whether or not you could preview the course before creating a class, and you definitely can. So if you're on the Explore Courses tab, or if you already have a course on your dashboard, it works the same way. Go ahead and click on that course details button. And that's where you're going to see all the information you need to know about that specific program. So whether it's going to work for your students, whether it has the languages you need, if you want to just preview the course. So go ahead and click on that button. And at the very top, you'll notice that there's a preview course button. So what this button does is it'll take you into the course so you can see exactly what students are seeing when they log on. So I usually recommend doing this at least with a couple of the programs, just so you can understand the look and feel of what students are experiencing in the course. Each course is designed a little differently. There's a different amount of lessons that take different amounts of time, but each lesson starts with a pre-assessment and ends with a post-assessment so that you can see what students are learning as they go through each module. So that preview course is where you're going to be able to do that. And if you scroll down past the preview course, you're going to see this tab that says planning resources. So that's going to be where you can find the curriculum guide, so which will lay out each lesson, objectives, what it covers. You can see any standards alignments that are under that course. And then you can see any additional lesson plans. So as I mentioned, there's the digital component that students can do on their own. They can complete the entire course digitally, but if you want to have a classroom discussion, more classroom activities, and really build out a unit, there are additional lesson plans for you there as well. And then we have the next tab over, which is assessments, and that's where you can find answer keys for those assessments that students are getting in the course. I'm going to pause there. Any questions about just how to preview the materials, where to find that information? So again, you can access the course details either from the catalog where it says Explore Courses, or if you've already added some courses to your homepage. So I definitely recommend doing that before creating a class, just to make sure that it aligns to what your students need. And again, this is where you would find those assessments. All right. All right, so once you've previewed the resources that you want to use, the next step is to be able to give your students access to them. So I'm going to go through how you would create a class. Don't feel like you have to do that right now, but if you want to walk through the process just to see what it looks like, we can do that together. So from the Explore Courses tab or the My Courses tab, whichever one you're looking at, you'll be able to see this Create Class button. So once you click that, you'll see a screen that looks like this. And so for those of you that have traditional class sections, you can choose the class that you want to give students access to from the drop-down menu. So you'll choose your Clever section. The class size and grade level, those questions don't have to be, and the start date, those don't have to be 100% accurate. We like to know that information just to know how teachers are using the resources, but don't feel like that has to be super accurate. And then you'll click create to create a course. Now, the thing to remember here is once you give students access to a program, you can add multiple courses on to their account. So, and this really comes down to preference. So some teachers like to just put one course on at a time. Others like to load everything that they're going to have students work on. So it really is up to you. If you want to add multiple courses to one of your class sections, you'll click this Add New Courses button. And from there,
Hey,
you'll see a screen that looks like this.
that's going to interrupt you, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'll see a screen that looks like this, where you can check off any of the programs that you want to add for your students. If there, for whatever reason, is a course that you want to use with your students that has requests, just that's not on your catalog already, you can hit that request button and I'll get that and I will add it for you. All right, I do see a question. Does EVERFI offer YouTube playlists for each course to provide a simple intro into? So some of the courses have intro videos, not all of them. It just depends on which course it is. We do have YouTube playlists for how to navigate the dashboard, but I'm not, I don't think we have like a playlist of multiple courses in that sense. Does that help answer your question?
It does. I mean, I guess it would be easy rather than going through and checking each one out, just to kind of get a sense through somebody introducing each one in a simple, like, here's a quick video, this is what this offers. You know, I mean, I know I'm able to, excuse me, look at the course outline, but it's just sometimes nice visually to see some
kind of what goes together. Yeah. And what I can do after the call is I can send you a link to our website where you can filter by grade level and subject and kind of see what courses are most relevant for that topic. So that's something that might be a little helpful in kind of navigating that. So yeah, so you can check off the courses and then you'll click add selected courses. And you'll see a screen that looks something like this. It'll say successfully updated class. And you'll be able to see what courses were added to that Clever section. So here I have Endeavor, EVERFI, and Venture all loaded onto one. So whatever you add will be on there. And you can always go back and add courses later by clicking the edit button. So if you didn't add all the things that you wanted to on that first class, just hit the edit button and you can add additional content. All right, so once you have your classes set up, students will be able to log on through Clever, and I'll go over that in a second. But some other features I want you to know about the dashboard is, one, most importantly, how to access student progress. So at the very top, you'll see a tab that says Gradebook. We actually just updated this, and so I'm hoping it's a lot more intuitive. But once you click on Gradebook, you'll be able to see the content that you have. So you'll be able to filter which course you want to see progress for, and you'll be able to see your students as they register and log into the program. So something to note is that students are not going to appear on your account until they've logged in. So, so sometimes I'll have teachers that say, oh, I'm missing some students. It just means that they haven't logged into the program yet. And we'll go over student log on in a moment, as I mentioned. But you'll see that it says certified and not certified. And basically what that means is after each lesson, students get a post assessment. If they pass every assessment in the course with a 70% or higher, they become certified and they get a certificate for that course. So that's a PDF that will load onto their dashboard, or you can print them for students if you want. But yeah, so anything that's a 70% or higher, they're welcome to retake the assessments if needed. So you'll be able to see all that information from this Gradebook tab. So once you have a student in there, you can click next to their name where it says view, and it'll show you all of the times they attempted the assessment, what their scores were, and all of that information. A couple of other things to point out here. These boxes where it says, you know, uncover the ice, paint the ice, those are the names of the lessons in that course. So as they complete each lesson, their scores will appear here out of 100. Any questions on the gradebook and kind of how to navigate that? All right. And then the last thing I'll point out about the dashboard is if there's any issues or questions that come up. So when you click on the help tab in the upper right-hand corner, what I would recommend to all of you is just email me if you have a question. I am very quick to respond, and I can usually get you a response a lot quicker than going through the chat feature. There is a chat feature on there, but if you just need some one-on-one support, my email will be listed under where it says have a question. So just shoot me an email and I can help you. What I will also say is if it's an emergency, if you're about to start class and something's not working, feel free to give me a call and I can hop on, and I'm usually pretty good about fixing most tech issues, so we can get you a solution pretty quickly. All right. I do want to go over quickly just getting students started and then leave a few minutes for questions. So once you have your class set up with the courses that you want, then students are ready to get started. So similar to how you all logged in, they're going to go to their Clever app or their Clever portal on their device. They're going to also click EVERFI once they get on there. And then it's going to ask them for an age range of under 13 or over 13. That's just so that they don't get a survey if they're under 13. So we do surveys to understand student outcomes and attitudes and behaviors. So that's why they have to fill out that information. But once they do that, then they're ready to click start. So they'll just click start and they'll be able to start the program. So this is a preview of what the student dashboard looks like. So as you can see, it saves their progress. They don't have to finish the whole course in one go. They can work on it slowly. So if they only have 15 minutes a day, they can work on it for 15 minutes and come back to it the next day. So all of the courses that they have access to will be on this student dashboard. And what's great is they don't have to do a class code or anything. They can just log in and click those courses that you've given them access to. All right, so I know that that was a lot of information that we went through really quickly. So I do want to make sure that all of you feel equipped to use any of these resources that you're interested in. So I'm going to just put in these links into the chat. So right now, for example, if you don't have access to Clever or you need to set up small groups of students, but you may not have a traditional class section, go ahead and just send me an email and I can get that set up for you. Some of the options that I offer teachers for support is I do classroom visits where I'll do a discussion with students about the program that they're starting on and then help them all get logged in. So that way that part is done. I can also set up the classes for you with any curriculum that you're interested in so that you don't have to do that on your end. So really the goal is to make it as easy for you to use these programs immediately with your students when you need them. So I'll also put in my calendar link because you can, if you just have more questions, you can schedule a meeting with me directly. So there's my calendar link. So feel free to click that if you want to meet with me one-on-one, and I can give you that one-on-one support. I know it tends to be an overwhelming amount of information.
Kathleen, remind me, I probably didn't hear it very well. Remind me how you add the course to your class?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're just going to look at whichever course. So you can do it from the Explore Courses button, or if you have a course added to your homepage, you'll just hit Create
Oh, I see
Class next to the course that you want. Yeah, and you can add multiple courses and just choose your Clever section. Thank you, Carrie. I'm glad you're excited. Please let me know if you need any help. Thank you so much. Any other questions?
And my other question is the request course. What's that?
So the
that has
request
to be
course,
requested.
yeah, so sometimes we don't auto load all of the courses onto every school page. So for example, we won't put elementary courses on a high school page. That doesn't mean that you can't use them. You know, I have a lot of special ed teachers that might be using some elementary or middle school courses with their students. So you can hit the request button and I can add it for you. Cindy, if you're a counselor, your process is going to be a little different. So go ahead and either email me or schedule a meeting with me and I can set that up for you. All right. And if you'd like to leave any feedback, here's the link to do so. But thank you all so much for your participation. And I hope you all have a wonderful school year. Thank you all so much. And those of you that had issues with Clever, please email me and I can get you set up. Okay, great, Genevieve. I'll take a look at my email so I can get you set up.
Thank you for your resources.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope they're helpful. I hope they make this school year go a little smoother. I know we've had quite a teaching environment the past couple of years, so I hope this is helpful.
It is. It's really good information and educational learning. So thank you. And I wish everyone a calm and relaxing school year.
Yes,
Thanks.
yes. Good luck, everything. Yes, please do email me if you need help. Let me put my email in the chat one more time.
Thanks again, Kathleen.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Okay, there's my email again for anyone that needs it. But I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday and enjoy the rest of your PD.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.